Is I muted? Most out for this level. You know what I'm saying? Got the brother rocking and rolling with me. I'm Officer Barack. You understand? Tonight, Tuesday night brotherhood class. You understand? Make sure as you tune in on the stream that we like, share, and subscribe. You understand? Get this truth pushed out there. You understand? So these brothers and sisters can wake up. You understand? Shalom, Yahweh Shem, all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shem, all the sisters. You understand? We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, as you already know. We started out from 1 West, 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under command of YAHANNA. You understand? We got affiliated with any Israelite group, any Christian organization. You understand? We've been teaching the truth since 1969. The Lord put his prophets back on this earth to come out here and get Black and Latino people back their nationalities, back their identities, back their culture, their laws, their rules, and all these things and above. As you can see, you understand, UPK, we stay very up to date with what's going on. You understand? We stay very up to date what's going on with Black people and around the world. You understand? We give y'all straight, uncut, straight to the point what's going on. And Black people need Black people need the truth. Because why, man? We're going to turn around. We're going to stop, giving our ear and trimming our ways, you understand, for the love of other nations, for the love and respect and forgiveness of other nations and of our oppressor. And Black people mistakenly, you understand, want to always get loved by every other nation, you understand, and then we have not been loved by every other nation, you understand? Before we get started, any questions in the room, I'll do my best to answer them, you understand? We got any questions? No sweat. If there's any questions in the chat, brother, keep that on monitor for me. You understand? Click, you should see chat on the top right. You should see chat on the top right. Most High Christ. Most High Christ. Let me know when. Yeah. No sweat. You understand? No sweat. Guide me. Find me in the scriptures where it say, why does thou trimmest thy ways? Let me know when you got it. You understand? Right now, brother topic, we won't hold it down right now. We're talking about we're talking about that Black people don't need a national anthem and that we need a Black nation. We don't understand how important that is. Black people become so docile and we done been so pushed down and shoved into a corner that we become comfortable with being in that corner. So now we used to have a very close eye and a very stagnant eye to noticing who our oppressor was, who the devil that the Bible speaks of, who's our slave master, who is our enemy. And as time went on with weak Black leaders, we started to get more and more and more closer to our captive. You understand that slave syndrome, that what's that syndrome called, brother?
When you love your oppressor.
When you love your oppressor, find that for me as well. You understand? That's what we started to push ourselves into because of these weak Black leaders that were miseducated, did not have the knowledge of the Bible, the knowledge of the Lord. So now we find ourselves making a Black national anthem and trying our hardest to bring out, you understand, what's happened to us while still not arousing in a violent way our oppressor. You understand? That's why Colin Kaepernick just had to take a knee. You understand? After all that Black people has happened to Black people and Latino people, we at the furthest we'll push is to a march, a million-man march, a march on Washington. The furthest we'll push, you understand? I'm not saying go out there and commit any violent acts, but just in history's time frame, as time goes on, what we'll do is when we do try to speak up on Black problems, we have to censor it. You understand? What you got, bro?
Stockholm syndrome.
The water. Stockholm syndrome. You understand? With that Stockholm syndrome, brothers and sisters, we don't understand that now we've started to also believe in, forgetting what has happened to us. And the scriptures say, remember the days of old. You got to remember what happened and consider what happened to your forefathers, to your ancestors. They're not just your ancestors, they're your brothers and sisters. You understand? Y'all might have heard me say it before. I absolutely do not like that word ancestors. I just don't like the terminology because mentally what it does to brothers and sisters, it makes you think, well, maybe this did, happen a while back. You did. Maybe this did happen a while back. Maybe it's not that serious. Maybe we can't forgive and just learn to love. And we don't understand like that right there is docile and letting America get away with their dirty laundry. You understand? It's letting them hold themselves not guilty. That's why we have to go out, critically analyze, what's going on. You understand? Critically realize what's going on. You understand? And focusing on what's happened to us. We want to be and fighting everybody else's protests, everybody else's movements. You understand? Everybody else's, problem. And we haven't even solved our own problems. You understand? Which is why I believe it was the sister Alicia Keys that went out there and sung this national anthem. And the sister can sing, but she tanked that one. I listened to it earlier. She absolutely tanked that one. You understand? It did not sound good whatsoever. But even the lyrics of it is, the furthest we'll go is a song. And you'll find in the scriptures, that's exactly what they required from us. Required of us a song. You understand these things? And that's exactly what happened. When we had to go out there and sing, has singing ever made your oppressor relieve the knee off of your neck? Has singing ever given you an extra right? Hey, so like, make sure if he's walking to the car, that they just stand by the door for me. If he, because he left the door before a reason. You understand? You understand? So, the furthest we'll go is a song, because at the same time, it's like, I want to speak up for black people, but I also still have to feed my children. As if your millions of dollars ain't enough to feed your children. You understand? There's only but few black leaders that would actually risk their merchants, their riches and all that and above for the sake of black and Latino people. A lot of black leaders will go into the neighborhoods, and what is the first thing they do after they get this little testimony? They go in there and they go and buy them groceries, right? Well, groceries run out in a week or so. You understand? Groceries run out in a week. Whatever you use against your people, against your neighborhood, you understand, to get where you at today in this rap industry, music industry, you understand, sport industry, whatever it is, you should go back and take them things out of the neighborhood. Buying groceries ain't what's going to get it there. You understand? But of course, these are the type of things that we've been, pushed down to do. These are the type of things that we were pushed down to do, and how it is that we get what's recognized from black people to our oppressor. The problem is, though, we don't understand that an oppressor was made to oppress. Just like black and Latino people are meant to rule this earth. But of course, we become so docile, we become so small-minded and closed boxed in because of all these religions, all of these, opinions. We heard our whole life, from our parents, your opinion matters most. And it turns out your opinion, got you where you at today. 3 jobs, bus to bus, you understand? Neighborhood messed up, potholes everywhere, you understand? You got that scripture, brother?
Oh, come.
You can go and read. Let them know you were.
The first book of Jeremiah, book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
Say it one more time.
Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore,
break that first part down for me, brother.
More so, just what you were saying, with everybody with Israel, we're always looking to the oppressors, saying what they're doing and trying to get love doing what they're doing, so they'll love us.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have the most wisest way, the most the best way to shine on the entire earth. Mm-hmm. If we would do things our way only, with no little bit of theirs, just only our way, and they would start looking at us that same way. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, Israel, we always trimming down what we do to try to get love from them, when it should be the other way around. As they say in the street, first you get the power, then everything else comes. Yeah, we don't seek our own power.
It's not crazy. Now that's 100% for sure. And what's so ridiculous that I've noticed, you understand, black people have the most patient and tolerance with dealing with our oppressor, but we don't have that same patience for one another. Oh, you understand? We would never go beef with a brother, go beef with a sister, and call ourselves going over there and singing to him. Right. Call ourselves going over there, busting a move. You understand? Like, nah, we be ready to take Jake head completely off. You understand? But when it comes to our oppressor, that Stockholm syndrome has caused us to want to beg for our life. And the scriptures say that the Lord would rather us die than to beg for our lives. You understand? Our lives are absolutely meaningful to the Lord, and their lives are meaningless. You understand? And they don't have compassion for you to understand. But time after time, song after song, trim after trim, all we've done is knock off our culture and how we want to respond. You understand? How we want to live. You understand? To please our oppressor. That's why we would rather go fight in their army than to make our own army. That's why we would rather go fight in their military and become, get on their disability plans and with all of the stuff that they offer with joining the military. You understand? Is it worth your lungs? Is it worth your knees? is worth your youth and all that and above. It's not. But of course, that's what we become to do when we trim our rays. Read it from the top one more time.
Come. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Mm-hmm. Therefore, hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways?
You understand? Why do we trim our ways to get the love of everyone else? Shalom, sir. You understand? Why are we trimming our ways so we can get the love of them? Why are we going out there and taking our beautiful voice, taking our tears to somebody that caused the tears? You understand? Taking our pain to somebody that caused the pain. Nevertheless, when we've separated, what has happened? Every statistic went up in a positive manner. When we decided to separate from the culture of America, coming straight out of slavery, what happened? You understand? We had thriving households, we had businesses, we had schools. You understand? Even the music was, to a certain degree different. Yeah, I mean, we was living a different type of way. It may not have been by the Bible, but we sure was living a different type of way. But now we become very docile and very weak, and to the point where now, we would go sing a song in recognition of us. Now, of course, anytime there's something on the YouTube, Instagram, stuff like that, I like to go straight to the comments. I like to go to the comments while I'm listening, just because it gives you a good feel. You understand? You understand the brother or sister spirit. It gives you a good feel to how people are reacting to this. Now, of course, listening to the sister sing, Alicia Keys' sister. She's sister, Alicia Keys. Let's just leave it in the air. That woman, right? Let's just leave it in the air. I'm not sure. You understand? That woman there, she went up there singing the Black National Anthem. They got the players up there. We don't realize, reading these comments, there was people up there, of course, that was disagreeing that there should be a national anthem, directed towards black people. You understand? And all and above, and they don't even realize that we're the whole reason you even go to that football game. The NFL, I guess, is the first one that's going to play that Black National Anthem before every game or something of that sort. And, there's people in the comment section, majority of the people that, of course, our devils are going against the fact of, there being a Black National Anthem. And typically, we don't need a Black National Anthem. A song, just like we didn't need Juneteenth, we didn't need a Black National Anthem either. Asian people got to stop Asian crime hate bill passed on Biden's first day in office. We got Juneteenth, and we got a song. Something that's going to run out in 3 minutes. Something that's going to run out in 3 minutes that's not going to hold any weight. It's not going to change our lives. You're going back to the projects, going back to the hood, going straight back to the same oppressor. You understand? Going back to the same boss, the same problems, the same bills that song did not change. You understand? And you going out there and you capturing the eyes of everybody because, of course, we have an amazing voice. But with these devils, all they want to hear is start the game. They want to hear the punt, the kickoff. They want to hear, they want the pretzels and the hot dogs and all these things and above. They don't want to hear about your problems. You remember what they told LeBron James? They told LeBron James what?
Yeah, just dribble.
Just shut up and keep dribbling. You understand? Like, what are you doing talking about what's wrong with black people? Aren't you supposed to be shooting my ball right now? You're supposed to be making me some buckets. Of course, this is nothing new. Same thing they did with us. We're using them picks with them lions. Same thing they did with us back in, the Roman Empire, Greek Empire, with the gladiators. You understand? It's nothing new. We was always performing sports. And, of course, never get to talk about what's going on with us. You understand? But it's about time that we stop trying to, come together and get our problems heard by our oppressor. They've been hearing it, doing it, seeing it, smelling it, everything else and above since we've been in this captivity. You don't understand it by now, then you definitely are, you're lacking to be awake. You understand? You're lacking to actually understand what's going on. You don't understand that we in times right now, you're truly, you need to get your head out the gutter for real. You understand? You need to tune into these classes. You need to get in all black if you're a brother or sister. You need to put a dress on because this ain't no game, man. There's floods all over the earth burning up on fire, sisters going missing, sisters getting drugged down the stairs. You understand the BET Awards looking like, a complete gay raid, a homosexual raid is just looking bad. It's looking terrible. You understand? And what type of future will our children have if we're not the ones that give them this knowledge, man, and give them this understanding? Singing the song and going out there begging your oppressor to stop bullying you or to stop oppressing you is ridiculous. What we need to focus on ain't about, trying to get our oppressor to hear our issues. It's getting our own people to hear our issues. You understand? It's getting us to come together and say, man, we gotta stop this. I know getting high has helped me out. I know being depressed and taking all this medicine has helped me out. I know all this thing, these drugs may help me out, but we gotta stop this thing, man. There's too many black people that's locked up in prison right now. We gotta stop this thing. I understand that we want to smoke, but we gotta find something else that's not gonna get us locked up. That's not gonna take the father out of the household. You understand? We should focus on fixing our marriages, brothers and sisters not being at each other's necks. You understand? Learning how to love each other and teach each other. Parents being parents to their children, all this and above. Like, that's what we need to focus on, having a black nation. Coming together and showing what black people can do, because once again, if we put the amount of love that we have into everything that involves our oppressor, possibly just maybe, you understand, we could also build ourselves up. You understand? We put that same love into ourselves, into our own household, into our own ways. You put the Lord's ways in your mind, you understand, you gonna walk upright. You understand? Your life gonna be a lot more understanding. This ain't our resting place. You understand? But in this hellhole, we can understand how it is that we survive, how it is that we endure to the end. Because enduring is something great at the very end, man. But you still holding something?
I was looking up the Alicia Keys, but she is sister now. So far, I can tell. All I can tell is her father was a Black American, and her grandfather. I'm looking to it so far. So I'm looking into it as far as his father.
He black. They black.
Both of them. Black.
Okay, well, most time crazy with Alicia Keys. You got saved for the day. It's Alicia Keys, I believe, right? I believe it's Alicia Keys. You got saved for the day. I wasn't sure if he was a sister or not, man. I wasn't sure. But of course, man, being that you are a sister, these laws do apply to you. You understand? Being that you are a sister, these laws do absolutely apply to you. You got to know that going out there and singing some song for your oppressor to hear you ain't going to get the trick. All the brothers out there loving your voice and all that stuff in above, your husband all in above. And, you can go do what LeVar Ball did and go get your own league. Go get your own league, and guess what? Everybody's going to come there. We have to understand that song ain't going to do nothing. Singing a black national anthem to bring awareness doesn't actually in reality do nothing for you. It's still, the brothers are still on child support. Brothers and sisters, right here in D.C., you got brothers living under the bridge. That black national anthem, and I look at the video, that video came out like 10 months ago. You understand? Like 10 months ago, something like that. You still got, that video came out 10 months ago, you still got brothers stuck on crack. You still got sisters out here acting like a fool. Still got brothers out here acting like a fool. Brothers sleeping under the bridge because we ain't got no sources. Brothers are starving, sisters are starving. You understand? Children ain't got no fathers, locked up. That song ain't do nothing for you. And we'll find out that musically, it's never done nothing for us. Singing a song has never done anything for us. But of course, following these laws, statutes, commandments have. You understand? But surely, with just a little bit of confusion, give me, Hebrews 4 and 6? It's Hebrews 4 and 6, if I'm correct. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You understand? The brother gonna pull the scripture. That's why we destroyed. That's why we find ourselves trying every single thing on this earth. We've tried kneeling. We've tried boycotting buses, restaurants, schools. We've tried shutting down streets. If Shabbat, you see a street shut down, what you gonna do?
Go around.
You're gonna go around. So we didn't try shutting down streets, like that stops anything. I see a blockade, I'm just gonna go around the blockade. Marching and standing on the sidewalk or standing on a bus. If that bus is boycotted and you need to get on a bus, what you gonna do? You gonna hit the next bus.
Okay.
You understand? Like that's not something that stops anything. That's not something that stops anything. And time again, we don't even give ourselves that many chances that we've given our oppressor to recognize what they do to us. We don't even give ourselves enough of them chances. We tried everything. We tried NAACP. We didn't try every group to try to get recognized and go out here and do food drives. We didn't try going in the military. We didn't try becoming their doctors and sending and their pilots and sending them up to the moon. We done built the skyscrapers. We done built their monuments. Damn near every single monument and memorial in DC is, you understand, built by slaves. With
And in the same spirit, I saw like they're not for this. That's some oppressive stuff. But like the Q dogs were stomping in the street on a Facebook joint, and you see one of the devils come out there, she high, drunk or something, came out. She wanted to act like she was stomping too, not even knowing the spirit of what they're doing. She just, it looks cool. And then sister came out there and snatched up out of there. But in the same sense, when
you said who was doing this?
like the Q dogs or something.
What is that, like a Greek set?
A fraternity.
A fraternity?
Well, I'm saying like that's some old present stuff too, but she didn't even know nothing about it. She just saw somebody starving. But in the same, the same spirit, when they marching, singing songs, oppressors join along because it sounds good, it sounds fun.
Right.
But they don't have the spirit.
Water, right?
I'm right there with you. I just got some cologne on and cover it. I didn't do like that.
Damn right, man. Damn right.
Yeah,
let's first start off by saying the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? You understand? Right. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. And of course, that's right. Damn right. And of course, it says so in the Bible. You understand? And we're going to show you tonight that while we want to love our oppressor, while we want to love America, we have to understand America has never loved blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans back as a people. This nation has never respected what we have done for this place. Like I seen a post on Facebook that said white people should stop their children from going to Ivy League schools. If you don't know, an Ivy League school is the Harvards, the Yales, the Stanfords. You understand?
Right.
There was a proposal that white people should stop their children from going to Ivy League schools for a time period so that black children can attend these schools. And guess who was outraged about this? Anybody take a guess? Guess who was so outraged by this proposal?
Just guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Al Sharpton.
You on to it. Our people.
People.
When you hear that, you would think that white people will be like, how dare they think that we should forego our children an Ivy League education so that their kids can get one. You would think they would be the main ones upset. Well, guess who were the ones that were upset? Black people. You know why? Because Christianity has destroyed our entire identity and our entire self-worth and self-esteem. We don't believe we deserve anything other than the scraps. You understand? Like, it's gotten to the point where we have accepted our place as being in the bottom of this society. Well, guess what? The Lord is not accepting our place in this society. While you want to live as a slave and love and serve the slave master, the Lord wants you to serve and rule over the slave master, man. That's the problem. You understand? And you know where you learn that from? Your black Christian church. The Christian church is the place where you learn to be a perpetual slave and servant. You understand? The Christian church doesn't teach you how to stand up like a man. The Christian church doesn't teach you how to stand up like a leader of your nation. The Christian church teaches you to lay down, to stay down, and to be a singer, a dancer. All that gay praise dancing they're doing in the church. Meanwhile, nothing is being done in the churches, man. Nothing at all. Go ahead, Barack.
If I could, I got two things on the. One is a question from Matthew, and another one, they just talking nonsense, but it's somebody named Matthios, Raphael, Negus, Estefanos said, only us, Habesha, is real Jews. You are from West Africa, sir. You got this.
What's his name?
You got this. You don't speak these. Matthios, Raphael, Negus, Estefanos. He said, you got this. You don't speak G's, uncolonized. I can't get this.
You should learn French or English. You should learn how to type, Raphael. That's what you should do. You should learn how to type.
I can read that.
I can't listen. It's okay. Listen. Of course, nobody wants to believe we are the real Jews. Why? How come nobody wants to believe we are the real Jews?
Because nobody. That would mean that you were wrong all along. That would mean
Just be more here. Be more carnal. Why is it hard to believe that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real Jews? Think how a white man would think. Go ahead. Think how we think.
Basically, that not these slaves, not these niggas,
not the people that are drug addicts,
Right.
not the people who we had to take their children in foster care because their mothers sold their babies for crack, not the ones who absolutely murder each other in the ghettos. You understand? Not the ones who we gotta force them to pay child support to take care of their families. Not the ones whose women are in strip clubs whoring themselves out. The world doesn't believe we are not the real Jews because of the Christian church. That's why. Because the Christian church taught us to be excellent sinners in America. So now people look at us and they can't see us for nothing more than what we do, which is take on American culture. You know it's not black culture for a black woman to strip. You know that, right? We have laws in the Bible against showing your nakedness. Right. Brothers can't even come in here with a damn tank top. Right. What makes you think a woman can show her tail and her breast? That's not our culture. Who do we learn that from? The people who don't believe we're the Jews now. You see how diabolical the oppressor is? He takes our culture and gives us his deviant culture and then turns around and says, you guys can't be the real Jews. Look what you do. Meanwhile, there's a race of people running around claiming to be the real Jew when we learn to be killers from that people. We learn to be sexual deviants from that people. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2. What else we had online?
Brother Matthew asks, can they get a breakdown of Deuteronomy 28 and 55?
No sweat. Also, too, if you could, Rock, can you give me a water bottle and some straw about the show? Wait. You understand? Y'all give a hand for Officer Barack. Keep holding down one guy. Barack be dropping them jewels. You understand? I be listening. I be like, dang, that's heavy right there. I can't let him teach before me. I can't come behind that. I gotta make sure I show up on time. You understand? But listen, I'm gonna show you right here. While you don't Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2, Buck the Sharp. While you don't believe we are the real Jews, the Lord is going to show the earth just who we are. And the Bible is going to describe what it's going to be like when the world sees that we, in fact, are God's holy children. Go ahead and read that, Buck the Sharp.
Said 75?
5 and 2. If you're just tuning in, make sure you like, share, and what can you subscribe on Facebook? Follow. Make sure you like I.S.U.P.K. Washington, D.C. page. Make sure if you're watching this, you share the stream, man.
Yeah, right.
Y'all scared to put the truth on your page? I think that's what it is. I think brothers be scared to share the truth. I think that's what it be. Y'all scared people gonna talk about you? Y'all scared they gonna talk about how you dress? You don't want to be called a Power Ranger, brother. You don't want people to know you support what these crazy Earth, Wind, and Fire wizards are saying. That's what they say. We dress like D.L. Hughley. D.L. Hughley went on his show and said we dress like Earth, Wind, and Fire wizards. Now, I laughed, but then I thought about it, absolutely. And then I thought about it, and I said D.L. Hughley would never open his goddamn shucking, jiving mouth to speak about how the Jewish man dresses, or speak about how the Arabs dress, or to speak about what the Africans wear. But the moment black people want to claim their identity, now we the butt of all the jokes. You know why? Because D.L. Hughley can't believe that we are the chosen people. He can't believe that we have a separate culture. The same way the world doesn't believe we speak the real Lashawan Kodash, the real Hebrew. While you unbelievers don't believe, we're steady proving and proving and proving. Read that. Whoever got it.
Come. With the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with the terrible fear.
Slagi, what is it that they're seeing?
Will that be the return of Christ?
Damn right. The return of our King, a nigger from the tribe of Judah.
That's right.
Who would be the so-called Negroes in America today. The ones who were here in America for 400 years that picked the cotton, that served mammy, that breastfed white babies, that raised white kids. This is who the tribe of Judah is, the so-called Negroes. And guess what? Christ comes from that tribe. And this is describing the return of a black man named Christ coming for his people.
That's right.
Every leader in history always saved his people. You don't read about nobody else trying to save no other people. Give me one leader that wanted to save people outside of his people. You can't. Now, you can name a leader that wanted to save his people and other people, but you can't find no other leader that skipped over his people and said, I want to save them other people.
Right.
You're not going to find it in history because every people love their own, except blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're the ones who have been taught to look at our own people as the enemy. We both are suffering and struggling in the ghettos. And we look at a fellow black man like he's the problem. Like he's the reason why I can't get a job. He's the reason why I live in the ghetto with rats and roaches. When guess what? While we're arguing, the oppressor in America gets richer and wealthier and stronger to make sure that we will never view them as the enemy while we destroy each other. Well, guess what? Christ is coming back to save his niggas, his brothers, because without Christ, we will be doing this until we were absolutely destroyed. Go ahead, brother.
SHALAM. And it's not magic either, for real, because I can walk down the street in a white neighborhood and they tremble with fear.
Exactly. Well, I remember I don't know if it's like that anymore. In the old days, white people used to be scared of black people. They used to see us on the street and cross over the streets. You don't see as much anymore because we became so assimilated. We didn't trimmed our ways like Barack was going into. We didn't trimmed our ways so much that we don't have that edge to us like we used to, that nigga edge, where it's like, ooh, he look real. I don't know what he about to do. I don't even know what he looked like. He just looked real aggressive, and I don't know, maybe this, maybe that. We kept them guessing because we had an edge to us. The more we trimmed our ways to be accepted with them, the more we lost our essence. What does the Bible say about the salt when it loses its flavor?
So like, I was trying to say something else. You said what does the Bible say about what?
The salt when it loses its flavor.
Becomes vain. Hold on.
While you get that, keep reading, Bubble Shaw.
Come. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. When
they see a black man named Christ cracking the sky with what the oppressor calls UFOs. The Bible calls them chariots, a cloud, a whirlwind. That's what's going to come to save us, these UFOs. And when the earth sees it, they are going to tremble with fear. It's not going to be a day that the church has lied to us to think it's going to be singing and dancing. I'm going up to yonder and all that. That's not what's going to happen when Christ is coming back. You understand? It's going to be straight up, slow singing, flowers. It ain't going to be flower bringing because there's going to be so much death. You understand? It's going to be a terrible day. Go ahead, Barack.
So I got the scripture, but like I said, it was vain. But the book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 13 say, "Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost its savior, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing."
It is good for nothing. You gotta understand the importance of salt. What is salt used for? It's not hard. It's
make something taste better.
Make something taste better. And in old times to preserve things.
Right.
You understand? Before refrigeration, you gotta think about how do people preserve their meats. That's why you have jerky. If you didn't know, jerky is meat that can last long. You ever thought about why it can last so long? Because it has been dried out and salted. That's why you read the sodium count on beef jerky is so goddamn high. Because you need that salt to preserve it to last for so long.
Right.
That's one of the uses of salt back then. But this scripture is talking about the main use of salt. Flavor. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the flavor of the earth. Right now, the United States the International Olympic Commission has banned and decided to not give Simone Biles the credit and the points for moves she's doing. You know why? You might take a guess why?
They can't do it.
Because they cannot do it. Sally and Susie and Karen and Becky and Chloe cannot do what Simone Biles from the goddamn ghettos eating ramen noodles and hot Cheetos and hot pickles and lemon heads can do. Well, they grew up on kale and Whole Foods and the best foods, went to the best schools, and was in gymnastics since they was kids, and had the best trainers and the best teachers. Here comes a little, what they will call her nappy-headed. Of course, we know that nappy hair is beautiful. You understand? They would call her a little nappy-headed girl from the ghetto, is now doing moves that these little white girls could never do. To the point, she's making them look so bad and making flipping so extraordinary. They like, we can't count this. Because if other gymnasts try these moves, it will cause them severe bodily harm. Like, brother, do you understand just who we dealing with? Like, the Lord made us to be the salt. And we keep wanting to trim our ways and give away our flavor to be bland, to blend in with the people that are bland. You know how stupid that is? Do you really understand? I don't think we do grasp how stupid we are to want to be like America, to be like our oppressor. Well, the Lord has always set us apart, even in our wickedness. We set apart. You understand? Go ahead.
Shalaki, I'm about to say that was going to be my next step. I'm going to raise my hand and say, I got in the next 4 years, they're going to hear about a lot of star gymnasts being hurt and breaking legs because they're going to push them to try to
do that. And guess what, brother? Just some things they won't ever be able to do because the Lord has set us apart. Deuteronomy 7:6, one of my favorite scriptures. The Lord has chosen us to be his special people. What Simone Biles is doing is special, brother. You don't believe me? Look, what was the sister's name that was ice skating? She did a move where she did a backflip on the ice skates and landed on one foot. Find her name for me real quick. What she did was special. What Usain Bolt did was special. What Sha'Carri Richardson did is special. What George Washington Carver did, if you didn't know, George Washington Carver didn't invent the peanut. He didn't invent a damn plant. What he did was he took and studied peanuts and found out so many different uses for these peanuts. And do you know what else he's known for that he doesn't get credit for? The factory. If you ever worked in the factory, they call it the plant. Because George Washington Carver developed the process that we know today as the assembly line. Henry Ford took George Washington Carver's designs and he became rich off of mass producing Ford cars because of George Washington Carver's blueprints on him studying peanuts. Brother, we are special. What's her name, Barack?
I got a name, but I also want to bring out something else.
Absolutely.
Her name is Soraya Bonalace or no, something like that.
Let me see how I look. She do got a. It's pronounced funny, but yeah, Soraya Bonalace. Yeah. Yeah, this sister right here. You gonna read about this sister? This sister was so fly on that ice, brother. Like this sister did moves that they never seen before. They didn't even know how to score. And they said what she did, nobody can do. To the point, it's like, you can't count that. You thought we can't count that. You understand? You bring that out and then you go ahead.
So like right underneath it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as going right, what you just said, as far as the whole, that they can't do it. Mm-hmm. So then they come up with something ridiculous.
Right.
And like if you half smart, you can figure out what they're saying. It says the official reason for the ban was because the landing is made on 2 feet instead of 1. And it's not a real skating jump. Like I forgot that I was on skates,
right,
on ice.
Right.
I didn't know, I jumped up in the air.
Right.
I landed on my feet.
Right.
I don't understand. So.
Brother, they said because she did a backflip and landed on 1 foot. They said, we can't count that. You got to land on 2 feet. Brother, I thought the point of this was to be extraordinary, to do that what has never been. Imagine if a white woman did a backflip and landed on 1 foot, brother. That I almost called it a B. That broad would be held as the greatest ice skater to ever live.
Right.
But this sister doing it, you can't do that.
Mm-mm.
You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
You know why? Because black people are not allowed to embrace being God's people.
Right.
Black people are not allowed to embrace being special, being set apart. And we've suffered this for so long that now we stop ourselves from being special, from being set apart. We try to trim who we are to impress and appease other people. Many of us do it. Many of us get around white people and we don't even know it. We try to change up how we talk. We try to change up how we look and what we say. We try to appease them when the Lord has made us this way because we are not supposed to be like them. Go ahead, Shapa.
That just brings into mind on the Will Ferrell movie Semi-Pro.
When he first dunked.
You were the first alley-oop ever.
Yeah,
and everybody stopped and was like, and the ref was like, 5.
That's exactly what it's like 5. It's so fly. It's like, wait, you can do that? I didn't know you could do that. Because you can't do it. That's why. And that's why the Lord is saying we are different. We're set apart, man. Keep reading. Wisdom of Solomon 5:2.
Come. And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
Read it. No sweat. Read it from the top.
Sloppy. I'm in the 13, 12, whatever. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness.
At the what?
Strangeness.
At the what?
Strangeness.
Keep reading.
Of his salvation.
Why is the Bible saying that the world is going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation? Let me not say "our" yet. Christ is coming. Everybody agrees Christ is coming back to save people. Why is it that the Bible is saying Christ coming back to save people, this set of people, is strange?
For the first part, he's the black man, and for the two,
right,
they think they're going to be saved as well.
They think he's coming back for little Susie. They think he's coming back for Ken and Dusty and Rusty and I ran out of white names. I used to know white names like that. I thank the Lord because I used to be around them all the time. Now all I know is Rashid and Bonquisha and Javarian. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those nigga names. But guess what? Everybody on the earth thinks Christ is coming back to save them and their people. Just imagine how arrogant that is. You just stole our records, and now you believe our king is coming to save you after you didn't destroy his brothers and sisters. You better understand the Lord is not a wicked brother. You understand? Christ is a brother that loves his brothers. And if you are a brother that loves your brothers and sisters, you can understand what Christ is coming back to do. Imagine you being the oldest brother in your family. You went away, you understand, somewhere, and you getting reports about what's happening to your younger siblings. Like, people keep telling you, your younger siblings keep getting beat up by these other kids and by these kids around the block, and this is happening to the siblings. Brother, when you come back to get your siblings, you're not coming back for everybody. First of all, you're coming back for your siblings to save them, and then what else are you coming back to do? To destroy, to repay every single body that had a thought to raise their hand against the Lord's brothers and sisters, against the brothers and sisters of Christ. And when I say the brothers and sisters of Christ, I'm talking about according to the flesh, because the Jews are black. Christ is coming back for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And when they see black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, niggas, wetbacks, and redskins, when they see those people being beamed up in the chariots, brother, the world is going to be like, what the F? They're going to know what it is because, of course, the Lord's prophets have been saying it. We've been saying it since 1969. But at the same time, brother, it's going to be strange to us. Not to us, but I'm saying, like, it's to see it happen. It's like, out of all the people in the world, with all the riches that all these nations have, the people in the ghettos, in the projects, brother, that is poetic. Like, we're not getting beamed up out of kingdoms. We getting beamed up out of Marcy Gardens, out of the Robert Taylor Project homes, out of what's the jokes out in used to be in DC? Berry Farms. You understand? Out of Cabrini Green, out of Watts. You understand? That's what the earth is going to see. The people in the ghettos and reservations and the burials being beamed up in these chariots to be saved. And it's going to be strange. You don't have to believe we're the real Jews. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to respect it. You understand? But I tell you what, you just be part of the firewood that's watching us go up. And then once we go up, you understand, if you can make it that long, the Lord sees that you see it. You understand? You'll know on that day, we are the real Jews. You understand? Go ahead, Rock.
Hey, Salagi, if I may, like you so right when you said, as far as like it would be strange to us as well, like black people through much begging, through much, language gates, bad leaders, all that and above. Through much of that, we done turned to stop charging our oppressor with these things and went to asking for their forgiveness and trying to get them to forgive A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Mm-hmm. Like we honestly started to believe ourselves and was talking about grandmas and grandfathers that all of this crime is going to go unheard of, and God is the type of God that would let the type of father that would let these things happen and they don't have to ever pay for it.
Right.
Like that's how low and beat down we done gotten to now. We don't even look at them ever having to pay for what they did. Nope. It's just more so like, let's just move on to the future. Let's just get a bill passed, get a law passed. Like even in that absence, it's like we still don't believe that they should get punished for 400 plus years.
And that's why
that's strange.
And that's why the Lord has set up prophets. Because what people don't understand is you cannot move forward without justice. The Jewish man could not move forward until they went and hunted down every Nazi soldier that they can find that was living and brought him to court and rendered him his punishment, whether it be life in prison, which it wasn't. If you didn't know, they murdered the ones that were left over that the United States didn't bring over here. They murdered them, brother. Like to the point where they just found the last one a couple of years ago. He had an air oxygen tank with the nose in his nose, and he was about in his 90s. And do you think the Jewish man gave a damn that he was old and frail?
Nope.
Do you think the Jewish man gave a damn that it was in his youth?
Nope.
Brother, they want him to serve his judgment. You know why? Because you can't move forward until justice is served. And that's why black people continue to talk about what's being done to them. Continue to talk about what's happening and what has happened to our forefathers. Because America, you've never gave us justice. Nobody has ever paid for the lynchings, for the rape, for the United States government passing laws to make sure we don't have any economic structure of our own. You think that we live in poverty because we're not hardworking? If that's the case, the white man would have came and grabbed us if we weren't hardworking. But I'll tell you what you don't know. They knew our history. They knew our track record as a people, as being the hardest working people on the face of the earth. Right. Why didn't they go get Africans? Africans don't build a goddamn thing today. Look at their own nations. Them Africans didn't build that. That's the oppressor build that in their land. Africans don't build a goddamn thing. Why didn't they go get Arabs? Why didn't they go get the Chinese man? They knew about all these people already. You know who they went and sought out? Who they went and forced the jungle and made deals with Africans who they can't stand? They went and sought us out because they knew our track record according to the history in the Bible. If we get these hardworking people, these special people, they will build for us a great empire, the same way they did in Egypt as slaves, the same way they did in Greece as slaves, the same way they did in Rome as slaves. You understand? That's why the Bible calls America Egypt. Give me Romans 3:3.
Dang, Salagi. I got it.
What, you got it already?
Yeah, I'm about to pull it.
Listen, brother, that's the spirit. That's what I said. Listen, man, you've been here long enough. You just know what it is.
Good night.
The Lord is going to listen. I don't want to sound Christian, so I ain't even going to say that. Listen, you just stick around. You understand? Stick around. The Lord going to really, really show you these scriptures through the men over us who's teaching us. You understand? Whoever got it, go ahead and read.
Read the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 3. For what if some did not believe?
For what if some did not believe? Did not believe what? What if some of y'all don't believe we the real Jews?
Right.
What if some of y'all don't believe that Christ is a black man?
Right.
That the Bible is a real book?
Right.
That the Bible is accurate? You understand that King James was a black man? That King Solomon and King David and all the people of the Bible were black, what if some didn't believe? What if some of you don't believe that pork is unclean? What if some of you don't believe that sex is marriage? What if some of you don't believe that Christianity is white supremacy and the white man is the devil? You know, what if some of you don't believe that? Keep reading.
Come. Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
Shall their unbelief, shall you not believe in this truth, make the word of God without effect? Meaning, do you think your unbelief in your stupid mind, in your small world, because of course you think the world centers around you and what you think, do you think it's going to change the power of this word? Keep reading.
God forbid.
God what?
God forbid.
God what?
God forbid.
Well, somebody put in today's terms what God forbid means. God?
Hell no.
Hell no. You understand? You understand? You think because you don't believe this Bible is not true, what we saying is not true, it doesn't have power? Hell no.
Right.
Hate to break it to you. I know you want to believe in your mind that you can control things telepathically and, you know, shut up. Please. Do yourself a favor and just shut up. You know why? Because you obviously need to relearn everything you thought you knew. The same way we all did. I once was that cat. In my mind, everything I thought was true. You couldn't tell me what I thought was true if you paid me to. Guess what? And I had to find a day when the Lord humbled me and broke me down to the point where I had to say out loud, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know. I thought I knew this, and clearly I don't. And guess that's what's going to happen. You're going to think you know, and the Lord going to show you don't know a damn thing, and your unbelief doesn't change the truth from being the truth. Keep reading.
God forbid. Yea, let God be true.
Yea, let God be true. Meaning, where is God found? If you want to know what God is saying, where can you find it? Go ahead.
In the scriptures.
In the scriptures. His words. You understand? These words are inspired by the word, by the Lord.
That's right.
If you want to know if you want to know God's opinion on anything, it's so easy. Don't think God's going to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Don't think you praying and sitting, rocking back and forth and crying in some church is going to somehow bring the Lord to talk to you. That's not how this works. The Bible is not spooky. The Bible is not superstitious. You understand? The Bible tells you what God says. The Bible gives you the Lord's stance on everything. The problem is you don't love and care about God enough to read what he really says, because you are God in your mind. Your thoughts are God. What you think is God. What you feel is God. And guess what? You're a God that nobody should ever serve, because you're a terrible God. You understand? You're a God that gets gonorrhea because one night you think this broad is in love with you. You in some strip club and the God in your mind is telling you she loves me. Look at the way she's dancing on me. She's in love with me.
Right.
And you listen, man. Ain't no hurt nobody feelings. Suck God or Shabbat.
If I'm gonna add on to what you were saying, not only that, our people so brainwashed, we put our trust in the pastors to the point to where we believe everything they said that we don't even read for ourselves. Everything that comes in his mouth is automatically true.
That's it. What in here? Look, is that the vibe in the UPK?
Nah.
Hell no, brother. You come in here, we gonna tell you, hey, brother, you got a Bible? You need a Bible out? Brother, in here, we make you read along. We don't make you, but in here, it's encouraged, highly suggested that you read along. And you be here long enough, you are going to read. You're going to read for yourself. And we suggest that you bring notes, a notepad, and a pen. You know why? Because this is a school. We teach what the Lord says. Go ahead, Shabbat.
Stop. You said you didn't want to put nobody out there. I do. I'm talking to a brother on a regular that think that God is talking to him and that he's going to bring the new scripture to the Israelites. But he has to smoke weed for his stress to keep him calm, though.
What do you mean to bring new scripture?
Man, do I need to read what he read?
No, we ain't going to.
No, we don't need to go into it.
Go into
Paul. It was hard.
He's a drug guy,
He's a drug guy.
And if I were you, I wouldn't even give the pearls unto the swine. That's what the Bible says, brother. Brothers like that, brother, let him get all the gonorrhea and chlamydia in the world. Let him not get the vaccine and get the Delta variant of the COVID. Let him not feed his kids on Saturday because it's the Sabbath. You understand? Let his wife go sleep around and post pictures of her brisket online like Gabrielle Union. You understand? Like, let him live a life that God in him says to live. Like, brother, you'll be in here and you'll watch how his God will die. His God is going to die with him because he's God. Meanwhile, you'll be in here and your God is raising you up and giving you light and strength, you understand, and wisdom, and you just shining and growing and getting stronger and stronger. And he's dying. He's dying. You understand? And hopefully he can see that, damn, my God ain't SHIT.
Right.
You understand? The God in my mind is garbage.
Right.
Let me come serve the one true living God of Israel. Salak, where was we at? Barack, any more on that?
Yeah, you can finish up the verse 2.
Go ahead, Baba Bashar.
For Salaki verse 4. God forbid, yea, let God be true, but every man a lie.
Let God be true and every man a liar. This is why the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA, will never lose.
That's right.
And it's not carnal. I'm telling you why. You know why? Because we say, let God be true and every man a liar. Brothers don't come in here and teach their opinions. That's not the way the school's operated. That's why, as a trooper, you ought to shut your goddamn mouth as a trooper. Because you ain't going to come in here and start teaching what you think. No, brother. We teach what God says. God says the white man is the devil. Right. God says blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real Jews.
That's right.
God says Christ is a black man, and he's sending Christ back to save black people. And he's going to destroy America. You understand? That's what God says. Now, of course, we can prove God says that because the Bible says that. You can't prove what God says because you are God. You're making that up. That's why we win every single debate we get into. We know your God more than you know your God. You think you know Allah, and then we got to school you on your own damn religion, dum-dum. You think you know Buddha, and we got to school you on your own religion. Like, brother, we're scholars in here. You understand? We don't do what we want to do. That's what makes this place so powerful, because the Lord is with us, because we abide by his will and not what we want. You think brothers want to come to class every day? You think brothers want to give up their Saturday, the most turned up day of the week, to go to camp and get yelled at and stand in the sun or in the cold? You understand? To sacrifice their Saturday nights? You think brothers want to do that? And very soon, for the Hebrew Academy brothers, sacrifice their Sundays? You think brothers truly, after a while, you're going to be like, I think I'd rather stay home today. And what do brothers still do? Come the hell in and do their goddamn job. That's why the Lord is here, because that's the spirit of Christ. You think Christ wanted to die for niggas that think they gonna create new scriptures? You understand? You think Christ wanted to die for niggas like that? No, brother. Christ said, I pray not for the world. I pray for them that's given to me. Christ has said, Christ was, F them other niggas, I die for my niggas. That's Christ. That's why I love that song so much, because if you want to think how Christ was, that's Christ. F them other niggas, I'll ride for my niggas, I'll die for my niggas. I should put Christ at the end of that. I can put that on the shirt and then put Christ, like he said. They'll be like, blasphemy. Meanwhile, they say God says you can eat pork, but they'll get mad if I put that on there. Man. You understand? Where was we at? Sloppy. The brother said he wanted to go ahead, Barack.
Now I was gonna say I was watching Captain Soccerwood debate this Muslim, from a couple of years back, I think like 2014 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And the commentator, he kept trying to ask, you think you prepared, and did you burn your slides, and you did your homework, and da 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 da. Mm-hmm. Captain Soccerwood, every time reading that with the spirit of the Lord, you can tell like this was from the Lord. Like he said over and over again, like multiple times, because they kept trying to ask the same question, but with different words. Mm-hmm. And every time he just said, well, the reason why we have been defeated is because you're not coming up against Captain Soccer.
No.
You're not coming up against, Officer Gazak Ahmad or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
You trying to bring whatever you have and stand before the Lord with what it is that you have. You're not standing against me. You're standing against the Lord.
Right.
You understand? Like you're not going to be able to stand in front of the Lord and come up against anything it is. So he would have to ask it. Not if I'm ready.
Right.
You understand? But what if he has is up to speed with what it is the Lord already put in place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was a humbling thing, but it's the most accurate answer.
Right.
Rather than coming up against the Bible, like you coming up against what the Lord said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How do you know they're not coming up against us? Because most of us, if you were to come up against us with that BS, a lot of us would hit you in your goddamn mouth.
Good night.
But because we understand, you're not coming up against me. You come up against God.
Right.
Because we know what we would do to brothers that come up against us. Nobody in here choir boys.
Right.
You understand? That's not who we are. Choir boys don't join UPK.
Right.
You understand? Listen, like you. Brothers who want to stay choir boys don't join the UPK. Because there's brothers in here that was in the choir. You understand? They used to be in the choir. And guess what? They absolute prophets and killers and priests for the Lord. You understand? Brothers coming here from all backgrounds. So, like, what we had online?
From a while back, the brother asked, "Can I get a breakdown of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 55?"
Somebody pull that up, Shaw. What else? We had anything else?
It's like, and I had a precept to back up what you were saying.
Go ahead.
A couple minutes ago, it was about how people would add and take away from the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
I got the precept for you now. Revelation chapter 22, verse 18, and I'm going to 19. For I testify to every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book.
Read nice and loud, God.
For I testify to every man that heareth the words of the prophecies of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book.
If any man shall add to what is written in this book, the Lord is going to add to you the plagues. You understand? Sickness, destruction, famine. You understand? This is talking to you, fake Israelites. This is talking to you, Christians. This is talking to you, Muslims. This is talking to everybody outside of the I.S.U.P.K. If you are not in the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, you are not in the truth. Now, your unbelief is not going to change that. You can hear that and laugh. I know people hear that right now, like, who the F these niggas think they are? Brother, I'm telling you, I heard that and I laughed. When I first heard it, I would watch the videos, getting high. And I remember at the end of the video, or was it the beginning? The beginning, they say, if you are not of I.S.U.P.K, you are not in the truth. And I remember reading that, and I was like, who the F are these niggas?
Right.
The arrogance. You understand? I remember being in the world smoking, getting high, a full-out sinner, and seeing that and believing somehow that I too can have the truth. You see how, brother, this is wicked as hell, brother. Now I'm in here, and I'm telling you, straight up and down, as a witness, if you're not in here under commanding General YAHANNA, you don't have the truth. Right. The same way, if you didn't follow Moses, you did not have the truth.
Right.
You understand? If you didn't follow Moses, you wouldn't have the commandments.
Right.
And the Lord shows you what he did to those that came up against Moses, who thought that they can be separate without Moses. The Lord deals with a certain way. Right. The Bible says the Lord is not the author of confusion. He speaks to one man, and that one, it goes down the ranks. You understand? That's how it works. Commander YAHANNA is the brother that the Lord has chosen to deal with. You understand? And so if you're not in these ranks, you're not being dealt with because you don't fall under this rank structure. So you don't have the truth. Now, you can take that and run with it and do whatever the hell you want to do with it. You know, go cry me a river, whatever. That's the truth. Your unbelief doesn't change that. And you'll see just in a quick second, this is the truth. Keep reading, God.
Verse 19. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life.
That's why, that's why by itself. But there's one race of people that are not going to get mercy when the Lord comes back. Right. There's one race of people that are going to be cut off as a race. And that's the oppressor. because he took it upon himself to take our holy records and to decide what he was going to keep in there or not. The fact that we have to have a Bible and an Apocrypha lets you know these people are the devil the Bible speaks of. This is supposed to be one book. If you go back to 1611, prior to 1611, that's how the Bible came. Old Testament, Apocrypha, New Testament. So why is it now that we got to get two separate books? Because there's a race of people that sought out to take from the Holy Scriptures. The Lord won't take from them. They wasn't guaranteed the book of life anyway, but they're going to get cut off for that, man. You can't alter what the Lord says. You can't pick and choose what you want, what the Lord says. Barak, what's your part?
So like I was gonna say that's mad heavy because like that's divisive in itself. You know, brothers is already distracted with not wanting to read books because of course we was in school reading what we thought Shakespeare was a white man, reading all these books that we don't want to read. You know what I'm saying? And then now you try to teach your brother the truth and you try to tell him the history behind where the Apocrypha came from. And that it is a part of the Bible. You can go back and get you an original version.
Right.
You understand? You can find one with the Apocrypha in it. But you tell them that, oh, you got another book, they automatically get weak-minded because it's like,
well, why is not in there?
You know, yeah, like now I didn't want to read one book, but now you tell me I got to read two.
Yeah.
I didn't want to follow one book, but now you tell me I got to follow two, not even understanding it's one book. But we so beat down and so, you know, oppressed and worried about everything else, we can't even accept the simple fact that, you know, nonetheless, that's our records.
Bro, what you said is so heavy. And I don't know, Brock, if you ever been at a camp where that has happened. Anybody ever seen where somebody seen that they seen us switch from the Bible? When I say the Bible, I'm saying because the Apocrypha is the Bible, but for the point's sake, they seen us get a scripture in the Apocrypha and they see how we have to take the Bible, close it up, or put it to the side and grab the Apocrypha. Yep. Anybody ever been to a camp and somebody said, that's not the Bible? What book is that? They not even read from the Bible. They got their own Bible. Because in our minds, nigga, you bring in another book. The oppressor is a crafty devil. You understand? When the Apocrypha was originally in there. But now, because they try to take stuff out, most of us have to get it as two books. You understand? Now, of course, if you want to spend some bread, spend about $600, $700. You understand? You can get one with both.
Right. Oh, so like, I was gonna say, because I was gonna ask what you were saying. Like, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and for our people, we like to get proved stuff. So, like, what I did was I got a 1611 version. So, right. When you show them that, and they be like, "That's not the part." You know what I'm saying? That's not part of the Bible. Show proof, and you realize 1611, and right. You read it, and you stunned it, like, wow, right? Because they never been taught that. So when you show them, they actually get like amazed by it, like, damn.
That's why the scripture says, "Prove all things." Right. Yeah, that's why. You think I went home and unbound this book and then put this in here in the same font, and I typed this up in the same font and did the same designs on the pages and put it in here and then bound it back up? You think I did all that? No, brother. That's how it came originally. Right. You just follow a religion of the oppressor. So you believe what he says instead of what the prophets who are black say. You understand? Where's we at? Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what Revelation?
Revelation 22, verse 18 and 19. Okay.
What, the scripture? Do we have something? Where's we at?
What was that?
Deuteronomy. No, slack. That's so up, God. You understand? Deuteronomy 28:55, I believe he said. Go ahead, Papa Shaw.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 55. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat.
Go up 2 verses, Papa Shaw.
Verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, in the siege, and in the
what?
In the siege.
In the what?
Siege.
Keep that in mind. Keep reading.
And in the straitness, wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee. Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave. Verse 55. so that he would not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he have nothing left. Because he have nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
Now, this right here, of course, Deuteronomy 28 is prophecy. But if anybody knows anything about our history, this is describing what happened to us in 70 A.D. Somebody type in Google, the siege of Jerusalem, 70 A.D. Now, we want to bring this out because this is history. You got to know these things. This is how, for all those that say we African, because we were sold from the west coast of Africa. This is in Babylon, Timbuktu. It's in the scriptures, of course, but this is the history of how we got there. Before the Romans took over our city, this is a military tactic called starving them out. A lot of militaries do it today. They've done it all the time. Well, what they do is they circle your city, you understand, so that you can now not have supplies. You can't leave your city. So now what it is you're literally starving out your people. People can't leave the city because, of course, what happens if you leave the city? You get killed. So this is a tactic that they use to weaken militaries before they go and fight them, to weaken the people, so that when they go to fight, either the people surrender or the people are too weak to fight, or they don't have enough supplies, right? Who looked it up on Google? Siege of Jerusalem.
Siege of Jerusalem. The siege of Jerusalem in the year 70 CE.
In the year what?
70 CE.
CE is the same as AD. They recently just changed it. You understand? Of course, we used to know it as BC and AD. BC meaning before Christ, AD meaning after death, or the Latin is Anno Domini. You understand? After the year of dominion. You understand? Which shows you that Christ was such a heavy figure in history that the Romans measured their time by Christ. Literally, the Romans measured their time by before Christ and after the death of Christ. Like, meaning 1 year after Christ's death was year 1 in the Roman calendar. Like, that's how influential Christ was, that he made even our oppressor to reestablish how they kept time. You understand? Now AD is known as CE and BC is BCE. 70 AD, everybody knows the Romans sieged our city. You understand? Keep reading.
70 CE was the decisive event of the first Jewish-Roman war, in which the Roman army captured the city of Jerusalem and destroyed both the city and its temple. The Roman army, led by the future emperor Titus, with Tiberius, Julius Alexander, and his second in command, besieged and conquered the city of Jerusalem, which had been controlled by Judean rebel factions since 66 CE.
This is why it says that, because what was happening was Christ came, and what was going on, like, you understand, the time period that Christ came on the earth in Jerusalem, it was like the time period now. It was full of racial tension. You know why? Because the Romans were doing what the oppressors doing now. The Romans were occupying our neighborhoods, but it was worse because we lived in America, in the land of our captivity. Imagine we in our actual own land, and now you got a foreign people in our land, brother. Our people were fighting back and forth. Like, you see these protests and riots and how we would burn down the cities in the 60s and 70s. Think of that in the Roman time. Like, we were going head to head with the Romans because they came in our land and were starting to rule over us. They were taxing us, high taxes. They were murdering our people, crucifying us, trying to get us to not follow our culture. You understand? So our people were rebelling. So you had rebellious, militias, pretty much, that were fighting against the Romans, and that they kept doing that so much that the Romans finally said, you know what? It's like what happens when the protests in America get too bad. What happens when the protests in America when our so-called riots and protests get too bad in America? What happens?
It's like they bring in the riot unit and surround us.
Close, no.
They step back and just let you do it.
No. They bring in not the riot unit,
Military, sir.
the National Guard, the military. They now send it. The police don't deal with it no more. Now send in the troops. Now we're in a state of emergency. Send in the National Guard. Go ahead.
Salagi, if I may, I know he's about to bring it out, but it's so heavy to bring out like how we the ones that these scriptures is talking about, because we, even though we might seem aggressive, like type a little message on social media or something like that, like it never goes past, as I tried to bring up earlier, like a boycott or a march in the city. Or so I asked the true Bishop Pot, I said, you see a blockade in the road, what you gonna do? You just gonna go around the road.
That's it.
Stopping traffic in one little part of DC or one little part of your nearby town does not stop, what's going on. You know what I mean? So when you actually get into it, it's so heavy just off of that point alone.
Right.
That's never, caused anything drastic to happen. But when you call out the military, you start to see, and that's why I think Captain Shock a couple months back when the riot had happened in DC.
Yep.
On the Capitol.
Yep.
There was a woman that was on the front line that was getting hit by rubber bullets and all these things and above, not realizing that the military is going out there because they're trained that this is war.
This is war. It's not the police no more.
Your trade is this,
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Exactly. And that's what happened in Jerusalem. We were rioting and so much in our own land because we had people over us that we didn't want. And then they finally said, you know what? Send in the soldiers. Like you had patrol soldiers and you had the soldiers where these are the soldiers now that's coming to take the city. And that's what happened. They finally decided 70 years after the death of Christ. Because remember, Christ was a revolutionary that inspired so many of our people. So after Christ died, many of us, you had a lot of different people, fake Israelites, that started to be violent. You understand? Just imagine now, you got, remember those fake Israelites that killed, that shot up that Jewish temple in Jersey? I think everything that's happened in the Bible happens today. They claim to be followers of Christ, Hebrew Israelites, but Christ didn't teach us to do that. You understand? But they were the ones who were committing these acts of violence, and that was what was happening back then. You had people that claimed to follow Christ, but they weren't Christ's disciples. You had these fake Israelites, for the best term to relate it to today, you had fake Israelites fighting and committing acts of violence because Christ is dead. You understand? And this happened for about 60 odd years, and then finally 70 years after Christ died, the Romans circled Jerusalem and said, we're going to take the city. We are full out going to, whoever make it, they are a slave. Whoever don't make it, they're dead. Brother, you go read about what they was doing to us when they sieged Jerusalem. Keep reading. Let me see if it says anything here. But I'm going to break down what this is talking about in Deuteronomy 28:55. This is prophecy, and it's talking about what had happened in 70 AD. Go ahead, Barack.
So like this quick, I also have a question online that's related to the topic.
Okay, let me get it just a second. Wobble shot.
Come.
Go ahead, Shapar.
Come.
Could God get Deuteronomy 28:55 so you can read why he reading that? Go ahead, Shapar, Wobble shot.
Come. Which had been controlled by Judean rebel factions since 66 CE, following the Jerusalem riots of 66.
The Jerusalem what?
Riots of 66.
See, I didn't even know they was gonna call it riots. You understand? I just know the history and I know what it was. It was what we do today. You understand? Keep reading.
When the Judean provisional government was formed in Jerusalem.
For time's sake, that's the why right there. For time's sake, what ended up happening is the Romans surrounded Jerusalem. Can't remember for how long, and we started to run out of food. And then we did run out of food. And what do you think was happening when we ran out of food? Good God.
It's like a famine that we was eating. That's the time we were eating our kids. And
Say it again. Say it nice and loud.
We was eating our babies.
We were eating our own children now. Brother, I'm not making this up. We were so starved. The Romans starved us out so bad, brother, that we went and were literally eating our children, meaning taking these babies and killing them and cooking them and eating them. A lot of us was eating shoes and belts. You know why? You got to think, like, how can you eat a shoe and a belt? How can you eat a shoe and a belt?
Because it's cow skin.
It's cow skin. It's leather. You understand? They ain't talking about that the garbage we got today, this vinyl and all these materials. Yeah, I think our shoes was made from leather. Leather comes from animals, cow, deer, ox. You understand? It got so bad that a lot of us were starting to eat our belts and our shoes. You understand? Along with our babies. Brother, this is what happens when you don't follow Christ. Because Christ never told us to riot. Christ never told us to commit acts of violence and to rise up against the government. Christ, when they came to arrest Christ, Christ said, if this was my kingdom, finish it. If this were my kingdom.
So like, I don't know if I'm off, but I thought it was you talking about the part where it was like where Christ said somebody had said something and Christ had responded if I wanted to bring the angels into this or something like that. That's
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
if this were my kingdom.
If this is my kingdom, you know, I could call. He was pretty much saying that he could get himself out of the situation.
Yeah, I can call a legion of angels, and they will fight for me. Meaning, Christ is saying if our goal was to be violent, he don't need us to do that. He can call angels to come and be violent against the oppressor. That's not what our purpose is. Our purpose is to change our lives and live how he lived. That is how you be revolutionary. That's why Christ was revolutionary, because he didn't go out and say, we need guns. Even though he said, if you don't have a sword, say a garment. But Christ didn't advocate, so like, make sure, just check, see my car still off the shot. Christ said, be like me. Don't get high. Huh? The puller's out there? Go ahead, Bob. What's up? You just gotta know it's my car right here. That's what Christ said. You understand? Christ said that you come live like me. You don't have to be violent. You understand? Deuteronomy 20:55 is talking about when we were sieged in Jerusalem. You understand? We started to eat our own children. We started to turn on each other. You understand? We started to be against each other. And that's what's happening now, because we are now being ruled by the Roman Empire. America is Rome all over again. You understand? America is Rome, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah. And right now, we are under the occupation of our oppressors, the Romans. And we are doing the same thing now, to the point that we look at each other. Let's go back and read 50, verse 54.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54.
You put a $65 ticket on the car.
So that the man...
Yeah, he said, there's nothing you can do with the credit. But I told him he tested the bathroom, so he said, come tomorrow, he could try to avoid it, but once it's printed, he can do it.
He said, Salagi, is he still out there?
Yeah, well, he's about to leave.
Barack, come up here real quick.
Make sure that door locked. Shapar, where was you at?
Deuteronomy 28, verse 54.
What we got? Whatever you had, read.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
Shapar, do me a favor. Stand out and do it for me. What's your pad? Just read it nice and loud. Push the door back a little bit.
Okay.
And just read for me. One more time.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
So which he shall what?
Which he shall lead.
Keep going.
Verse 55. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat.
Yeah, man. As the brother was breaking down, man, like this is how the Romans had us, man. This is signing people that you see, you understand, that you're dealing with nowadays terms. If you're from DC, it's very easy for you to know. A lot of people have to see it on the screen, but y'all don't understand that the architecture that's in DC it's really a continuation of the Roman Empire. You
No,
understand?
what's
It's a
the one?
continuation of the Roman Empire. And typically, we still dealing with them same people in today's time frame, man. How they starved us out. You live in the projects in the ghettos, you'll see how they starve us out, man. You understand? So, look.
So the water, right? The water. Yeah, no swap, so 2 hours. So let's go back to verse 54. If you could, Brother Bashar.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
The brother that's tender among you and delicate. What does tender mean?
Soft, weak.
Not soft and weak. Tender means, go ahead.
Tough.
No.
Passionate, like you.
Young. Tender and delicate, like the young brother. The brother that's, you want to eat like how you got brothers up in age, and it's like they so scarred and I don't trust nobody. You got young brother. Imagine you meet a 13-year-old, or imagine you meeting a 17-year-old teenager. He talking about, man, F the world. I don't trust nobody. Like, brother, you too young to be scarred like that. You still should be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and have hope and naive and, trust people. That's not what it is. How do you know? Because the teenagers is the ones shooting other teenagers. They looking at their fellow brother with evil in their eye. The young and the delicate brothers. Don't get it twisted. These young kids that's killing each other, these brothers are tender and delicate, man. These is young boys. These brothers ain't real killers like that, man. But because we live under a people who have taught us to be wicked, who have taught us to be murderers and follow after their ways, those young brothers who would normally be the ones that you like, look at this brother here, man. Your brother. They're the ones that have evil in their eye towards their brother. You understand? Keep reading.
And very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom.
And towards the wife of his bosom, man. You understand? The woman that he loved, like this was my girl. You understand? This is my shorty. And then now I can't stand that bitch. You understand? I don't know why I'm with her. You understand? Like, this is what has happened to our people. And this is black people's lives every day. Like, your high school sweetheart, and then for life happens where we live in oppression and hell, and now she becomes your enemy. You understand? She is now the enemy because we have a people over us that are really our enemies that has turned us against each other. You understand? Keep reading.
And toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
And toward the remnant. Why does it say remnant of his children? Go ahead.
It's no longer there.
But bring it home to black people's lives. Why does it say the remnant of his children?
What his kids used to be.
What does the word remnant mean?
Like a piece of.
Move on to it.
What's left over.
What's left over. What's left over of his children, he shall have an evil eye. He's what does it say? The remnant of his children.
He should have be evil towards them.
He shall be evil towards. Why does it say what's the children that's left over? What does that mean? Think about the ghetto. Go ahead.
They're more grown than they should be. They're not as tender as they should be.
Mm-mm. Think about the ghetto. I literally just said it.
Oh,
5 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, abortions and all that.
Be in the class. I want you on to it, but be in the class. Go ahead.
They're killing each other.
They're killing each other. How many parents we burying our children? We literally got to bury our kids to the point where I met a sister. She had 3 sons. She has 1 son now. I'm like, I can imagine being a mother and you lose 2 sons. This is what's happening. Like our children are murdered. Our children are murdering each other. And that's why I'm saying, and the ones that's still alive, that's left over, he gonna have an evil eye to them. He gonna look at them like, man, I gotta pay child support for these mugs. You understand? Because he hate the mother, he hate the kids. You understand? Like our lives is being written in this book, and it was before time because this was happening at that time. Imagine you in Jerusalem, and the Romans are besieging the city, and we ain't got no food. Instead of us doubling down and coming together and loving each other, like, we gonna die together. We looking at each other like, man, you eating all the food. When this broad is, like when times get hard, we do the opposite of what we're supposed to do. When times get hard, you think it's supposed to push us like this. When times get hard, we do this. You understand? And that's why it's so jacked up. I always say this. I judge a woman by how she do in the hard times. I tell women, the only time you can truly prove yourself to a brother, if you really with him, is when stuff get rough.
That's right.
That is your that's the opportunity you have to really solidify your position. Outside of that, I don't really know you bang with me like that.
Right.
Of course you're gonna be with me when I got money and stuff is good.
Hey.
What are you gonna do when times is rough?
Right.
And brother, that's what it is for us. The Lord want to see what are they gonna do under pressure. What they gonna do when there's no food and that pork is sitting there? Mm-hmm. You ever heard when these people here, we can't eat pork? You ever heard somebody ask this question? Well, what if you was on an island and there was no food left and you were starving and all that was left was pork? Would you eat it then? You know why they ask that? Because they fold under pressure. You know who folds under pressure? Prostitutes. Those same brothers that say when they would eat the pork, all it would take is the right amount of money for them to get on their knees in front of another man. You compromise, you're a hoe. You understand? And that's who we are now. We're a nation of hoes, sold out by the church. Go ahead, Barack.
Salagi, if I may, like this, making the scriptures levitate even more off the Bible. We the only race of people, blacks and Latinos, that are raised on the aspect of when times get rough, times get hard, that I have to get it on my own.
Right. I gotta
go and get it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's just me and not lonely.
Right.
I hate.
Ain't nobody else gonna feed my family.
Right. I gotta sell drugs to your kids to feed my kids. Right. I gotta kill your son to protect my son. We the only people that do that. Right. That whole culture of I don't trust no. That's why I always hated a lot of the rap music that came out in the past 15 so years. It's all sad, scary nigga, crybaby niggas garbage. It's just me. I don't trust nobody. Got to get it on my own. I came out the mud by myself. Shut up. Like, God damn. Like, brother, that is disgusting against the Lord. Like, the Lord wants us to come together. The Lord wants us to suffer and say, no, it's me and my niggas. If they starve, I starve. If I eat, they eat. That's what the Lord wants. That's word. You understand? Go ahead, God. Slide, Barack.
My fault. It just finished off the last part right off what you just said. You know what I'm saying? Christ said the same thing. That fed me when I was hungry, clothed me when I needed clothes, housed me when I needed to be housed.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing the scripture, but y'all know.
That's right. Go ahead, God.
I was going to add on to it too, but Christ wanted us to be so hardcore. He said it's best to die than to beg. Of course, I'm paraphrasing.
Right. Better to what's it called? Better to die than to lead a beggar's life. Right. That's what Christ said. That's what the man we follow. You understand? And where was we at?
Verse 55.
Go ahead.
Verse 55. So that he would not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
So this is saying he doesn't have anything to give to his children because he has nothing, and then he has eaten his children. It's just showing how we've been completely deprived and depleted of everything. You understand? We're not even today in America, black men aren't allowed to have custody of their kids. Brothers come in here and they get custody, but for the most part, it's a known thing that a brother, if a woman leave you, she taking them kids out, and you paying child support. You understand? Like what's happening then is happening now. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Barack.
Salagi, I forgot about the brother's question I asked a couple minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
He said, CJ said, what do you say to the people who say the Bible is prophecy and not history?
You can't say one is not the other.
That's right.
Okay, if you understand what prophecy is, you have to understand history, because history repeats itself, which means if this is in history, you can look at what has happened and know what is going to happen. If the Bible, if they can admit the Bible's prophecy, they are inadvertently admitting the Bible is history. Because we're right here. We read about the history of what happened in Deuteronomy. And at the same time, this was a prophecy. Imagine us coming out of Rome, and we done fled Rome, and we reading our records about us in Africa. Like we in West Africa now, and living amongst our own people, and we're reading those records. That was history. But guess what didn't happen yet? The same thing. We weren't brought on slave ships yet, and when we was in West Africa. History and prophecy go hand in hand. It's like Shabbat
Okay. You kind of took the words out of my mouth. It's like that question makes no sense. Because before, a prophecy is something from history talking about the future. So like that really didn't make any sense to me as a question.
I got what he was asking.
Like,
Which people ask that, but like you said, it's so common sense that it doesn't make sense.
So it might continue. Like if you believe that it's a prophecy, then you believe that it's history.
Exactly. It go hand in hand. To admit one, you are inadvertently admitting the other one. Go ahead, Flo.
I was going to give a prime example. Like if you look at the news today in California, the Lord's is sending a drought. He's drying up all the water and sending a famine on the crops. Mm-hmm. And if you understand history, you understand that same thing happened in Egypt. So that's the prophecy that's happening today. So like I said, go hand in hand.
Right. See, that brother, he said, what do you say to a brother that doesn't believe, that believes the Bible is history, but that believes, as he said, prophecy?
He said, what do you say to the people who say the Bible is prophecy and not history?
That was prophecy, not history. Okay, so 70 AD, are there records outside of the Bible about what happened to Jerusalem? Shapat, when you just pulled up to see Jerusalem, did you pull that up in the scriptures? What you pull that up on? Google. Wikipedia. Why? Because that's history. Guess where else it said that happened at? The Bible. It's literally detailed in the Bible. You understand? You want to get another one? Get me.
So like another one to what?
That's prophecy. And history.
It's like the Christmas tree in Jeremiah.
Ooh-wee, that's a good one. But
I'm under the sun.
I want one that's relevant to what's going on today.
I mean, last days.
That happens every 4 years. I mean, first Maccabees 1:14.
Book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of
one verse.
I will come. Verse 13. First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Our people became persuaded by, if you read verse 11, it tell you, there went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many to follow after the heathen. Our people were in the captivity under who at this time period? Anybody know? If you don't know, we'll keep reading if you don't know. Go ahead. The Greeks. At this time period, our people were underneath the Grecian captivity. And we follow after the ordinances, meaning their laws and their customs. You're going to find out what is some of their customs, which history is going to prove, and it's going to show the future of what's going on right now. Keep reading.
God. Of the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise.
Whereupon they built what?
A place of exercise.
A place of exercise. What is that called today?
The Olympics.
You jumping ahead. What is that called today? A gym. The Greek word for gym, anybody know?
Gymnasium.
Coliseum?
Mm-mm.
That was close.
Go ahead, bro.
Gymnastrio.
Mm-hmm. And what does it mean?
Fitness center. Gymnasium. Salagia. It's a school for naked exercise.
Naked place. That's what the Greeks, that's what they did. You go look at old history. Now, this is the Bible talking about this. This is common knowledge that the Greeks were famous for building gyms, which eventually were training centers for eventually that led to prepare for the Olympics. The Grecians were the ones that established the Olympics. The Greeks exercised, they did everything naked because they had a famous homosexual culture. That's why the sauna, you know where that comes from, the saunas today? I never could understand how grown men can go in a sauna. They go, it's funny, ain't it crazy? They walk in with a towel and then they get in there and they take the towel off. You have grown men sitting amongst each other. Some of them sit up on a stool, so he got his private parts by your head and they in there naked, sweating and naked and hot and steamy with men. Brother, that comes from the Greeks. You understand? And they do it today. And don't think these NFL players and NBA players that y'all idolize aren't participating in this gay culture. Everybody want to debate about MJ and LeBron. I don't debate about brothers that might be sodomites. Ain't too much to debate about that. Y'all got that. Because best believe they participate in that culture. You understand? That's Greek culture. And right now, our people are participating in a custom that was started by the Greeks. Now, the Bible talks about it. That's history. It's actual history. And it prophesied about us going into the Olympics. What we're doing right now. You understand? So who had a hand up? It's like
I don't know if it's just showing bad spirit or not, but I wasn't even comfortable just giving a pat down just earlier today. That was my first pat down in here. It's like I don't touch it. You know,
it's supposed to be like that. Of course, when you get in here and you learn certain roles, you understand like, oh, he can pat down. But at the same time, that spirit, maintain that. You're supposed to have that spirit as you're doing it. But at the same time, what's going to override that is, but ain't nobody come up in here and harming nobody. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do this, and it's not going to be gay. We don't do it gay. Now, I can't speak for IUIC. Lord forbid they probably do pat downs now. Good night, boy. Nasty Nate and probably oh boy. So like, I'm gonna get off that. Go ahead.
The last thing though, the spirit was I was following orders.
That's it. You understand? The Bible is prophecy and history. We had anything else on the line, Rock? I probably want me to get into the topic tonight.
Nah, that's it on that, sir. That's it on that.
That's it? Yeah. This is what I want you to do. Go to YouTube and type in Lift Every Voice.
Sluggy, was if I may, was when abuse referring to the Black National Anthem? Mm-hmm. Was he referring to the one that Alicia Keys did?
She probably sung it.
Yeah, she sung it. Yeah.
But
Lift Every Voice, right?
Yep. I want something. I need a good Christian one.
Is this by Black people? This is Lift Every Voice. The same. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I made the title itself is devious. It's lost in confusion.
We don't
even say it's saying Lift Every Voice is like saying who can't breathe? I can't breathe. Like, you can breathe. Yeah, I mean, the rest of us can't breathe. They say lift every voice. That's included in every other nation's voice, sir.
You gonna get it right here. Give me it.
I got it wrong.
It's the one that start like this with the purple. You type it in. It's it should be the one. It's the third one. If you type it in, it's Alicia Keys, the yellow one, and then
what do you type in exactly?
The purple. Just lift every voice.
Lift every voice and sit. Okay.
The balm in Gilead is purple. Just type lift every voice.
Lift every voice.
Just type that in.
I'm looking for the purple one, so see it. Is there a different thumbnail on the front?
Let me see right here. Here we go. Shit.
When I type lift every voice, I got Alicia Keys, I got a yellow one, and then it says lift every voice and sing.
Yeah, it's
what's the time of the video?
It's 4:58. It's purple. It start off with the purple on the front. That's not it, but they start off the bomb, but to get the bomb in Gilead like this.
4 minutes and 58 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got you right here.
Play that Bible Shaw. Make sure the speaker's turned up all the way. Somebody give me Psalms 137:3.
Let's share the screen.
Show some stuff.
My shit was ripped up.
Say again, sir.
Pt.1?
Yeah, I got a video playing.
Who?
I got a video playing right here. The Black National Anthem.
Oh, great. I know.
Yeah, cuz, sir.
Is it?
Yeah, cuz, sir.
Don't feel bad. We got one in Puerto Rico.
Oh, this is aching my ears.
Takes.
See. You gotta feel it. You gotta sit through it. This is our national anthem.
Blood on the Hebrew cat.
You know, this is ours. We gotta sit through this. Y'all should be standing up right now. This is the Black National Anthem, huh? It's over. Give the Lord a hand. Now, let's start off by saying this. Why is there a Black National Anthem? Somebody do the shot. Why is there a Black National Anthem? Go ahead.
Because we're not a part of this nation.
Get a brother a hand. It's literally that simple. If we were American, the Star Spangled Banner, the actual national anthem, would be our national anthem. The fact that we went out of our way to say this is the Black national anthem is an indirect way of us saying we are not a part of this nation. The problem is the people that deem this as the Black national anthem still told us that we had to go join America. They told us that we had to sing about a Black national anthem instead of following what the Bible says to establish a Black nation. Can anybody take a guess who deemed this song as the Black national anthem?
Some devil. Some devil.
That's a good guess. You never go wrong with saying the white man. He's a devil. The NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, they deemed this song as the Black national anthem. Anybody know why they deemed this song as the Black national anthem? I'm gonna take a wild guess, just out of curiosity.
Sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
Why do they deem this as the national Black anthem?
Wow, I don't know, just to say this show we still got hope in America, I guess.
This song was sung first. Go ahead.
Because it sings about equality with everybody in the nation.
No, actually, the song has. If you read the lyrics, that's why I'm going to do a part two. I'm just going to give you a preview of what we're going to go into next week. If you read the lyrics, which we are going to do, we're going to do a breakdown of the lyrics. It's confirming it has passages out of Exodus. It's making comparisons to the slaves in America to the slaves in Egypt. Interesting. Why would they put that in there? I'll tell you why next week. But I'm gonna tell you right now, the first time this song was sung and made popular was when we sung it to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Now, next week, I'm gonna go into who Abraham Lincoln was and Why do black people have so much reverence for him when we're gonna find out we really shouldn't have? You understand? The NAACP adopted this as the Black National Anthem in 1919. You understand? To spur our fight for civil rights. You understand? Now we're gonna go some more into it next week, Tuesday. Y'all tune in. Any questions you have, bring them next Tuesday, or you bring them tomorrow. Captain Shot will be teaching the scripture breakdown class tomorrow night. You understand? With that, we're gonna pass the class over to Preacher Officer for God.
Security announcements. We got an I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. New rules for brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 verses 21 and Malachi chapter 3 verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and pronounced I.S.U.P.K. 10% of every penny or any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. The upholding convocations, which is the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets, the first day of the 7th month, Monday, September 6, 2021. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verses 24 to 25. And the upcoming cookouts will be in New York on August the 19th through the 21st. Remind Akim and Al-Wathi to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start to wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headbands, and a scarf.
Black scarf.
And black scarves.
Mm-hmm.
To stand up.
With that said, module.
Yeah, so like with that we say a module which means to stand. But if Israel will give word courtesy to the teacher, but if Israel Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak.
Yahweh Shem Shabrak.
Yahweh Shem Shabrak.
Yes, Matah, class dismissed.
All right.